In the name of the dearly departed, here's Watkins. His life is what we celebrate. In his name we congregate. In his honor we commemorate. Cause we know he went to a better place. Got a call at 6 o'clock, they said the big homie Pierce is gone. And he ain't never coming home. I had to get my mind blown. How did he get that far gone? He went to sleep and never woke up. Got some money, got his bread up. I should've known that he was fed up.
Well, that was pretty cringy, huh? I know it's a tough day for you, David. Tough day for you.
Watkins. I knew him kind of well.
Kind of, almost. You almost met me in person one time.
Yeah, one time, almost.
No, almost. Like just several states away. You know, that's almost meeting me, right?
Yeah, that's true. We were almost in the same place at the same time.
Almost. So do you understand the analogy, David, that I'm going for here? The cringy ass analogy?
You're trying to say something along the lines of the things that you used to do, you're not trying to do them anymore, and you're trying to do... I mean, is there a new Pierce, or is this just like a goodbye video? What am I doing?
No, I think there is a new Pierce. I think there is an old Pierce and a new Pierce. I'm still trying to figure out new Pierce. New Pierce has not been reborn yet. He's still... Maybe he's in like a purgatory before reincarnation. Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah. Is that like
in mythology, egg? But it is now, you know. Yeah, so that's where I feel like I'm at.
Reincarnation egg.
Yeah, reincarnation egg. Yeah, chilling in all that, you know, whatever that gooey stuff is. Yeah.
Yeah. Get the real yolk. Oh, so what kind of things are cooking in the new Pierce that might come about one day?
Well,
and what parts of it? I mean, you're still here talking and breathing, and I still got the background and the cool banner thing you made. You still have the beard. What's...
Maybe I should pull like an M&M, and instead of growing a beard, I'll just shave it off.
Yeah.
Could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
So, what is it about... Why do you feel like you need to do some kind of symbolic funeral? For what are you mourning? What is passing away?
I think it's the overall goal. So when I first started doing this thing, I was like looking at the world, and I was seeing a lot of things that I didn't think should be going on. A lot of people believing things, taking action on those beliefs. And it was kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks, right? And then I stumbled across Anthony's videos, and I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like what's going on here. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that. And that might enable me to make some sort of difference out there, right? Do something. But it maybe there has been an impact, but it seems to have, I don't know, like it seems like the minor claims, and when I say minor claims, I mean the stuff that's not really vitally important to people. So a lot of the stuff that I would consider a minor claim, like think of Nick. You're familiar with Nick, right? Conversations on the Coast.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. He probably has conversations about super important stuff, but I know a lot of his content, a lot of his like first conversations with people. Sometimes he has like they split off into another one. Like
Mm-hmm.
later on, they'll talk about something else, even if it's in the same sitting. But a lot of times, we talked about this, me and Nick, and a lot of times that first claim is something really insignificant because people meet him on the train
Mm-hmm.
and they just throw something out there because he's asking them to have this conversation and they're interested in it, but they're nervous as shit because like somebody's shoving a microphone in your face on
Mm-hmm.
the train and it's weird. So you just throw out something silly like I don't know, eating unhealthy is bad for you. You know, it's not something that's like this deeply rooted belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think street epistemology or any of its variants, I use that term very loosely. I'm talking anything that's even remotely close to it. That kind of theory, Socratic, whatever, right? That I think it's really good at those types of claims. Maybe even like medium claims, you know, low claims, medium claims. But then when it gets to these radioactive claims, these deeply, deeply rooted things, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of where that sentence starts and ends. It doesn't seem like there is progress being made when I have these conversations about these radioactive topics.
Have you seen any conversation about these radioactive topics that you feel was more fruitful? Like in any ways, through SE or through man on the street interviews, through Fear Factor. I mean, what do you?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Kind of. It's kind of one of those things where, like, it went well. Like, don't get me wrong, it went really, really well. But I don't know. I don't know how productive it was in the end. Like, nothing bad happened, so I guess that's a plus, right? I guess in most.
I don't know if you're answering the question I asked there.
Ask it again. Remind me, then I'll try to make.
Have you ever seen someone meet the goal of having those very, very hot button topic or very, very, very important topic reflected on in a meaningful way in any kind of medium?
I don't think so. I don't. Not those like really, really hot button stuff. I can't say that I can remember anything really that has gotten to a level of reflection that I suspected, because you can't really know that for sure. That like to my satisfaction.
And that's like anybody. That's including, Jerry Springer interviewing anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do that. Like, I don't know if it's even possible. I mean, I would think it would be possible, but oof, like I've seen conversations where it's like everybody stays pretty chill and like there's points being made and there's a back and forth and people are listening to each other. Don't know if there's much reflection, so that's one part of it. And then I've seen like those man on the street interviews, right?
Mhm.
And you got those. And as far as like reflection goes, maybe there is some reflection there. But I think maybe in those situations, and I guess this is speculation on my part, but in all the instances where I saw there was at least some reflection, it wasn't like it was this deeply rooted belief for them. It was just like some random person off the street. They started talking to him about it, and it wasn't like this was super important to them. It was just like, oh, that's a thing. Let's talk about it. You're here. You're talking to me. You're asking me questions. You hardly asked permission to talk to me about this. And they just, it was just kind of off the cuff. Like, it wasn't something they really even gave two shits about. They were just spouting off, you know what I mean? Answering the questions, going along with it.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So chopped liver. Got it. Yeah. I love it. Thank you. No. Yeah. I mean, have you ever considered maybe it's a skill issue? Maybe you're hanging out with like bozos who were born yesterday, don't have any experience, and they're weighing you down.
Maybe. Could be.
I mean, you changed your mind on this big issue. Something worked in that in some capacity.
Yeah. I mean, I guess something happened. And yeah, I think you're right, actually. You know, I did change my mind on this. And I think there's two ways people change their mind on these types of things. Actually, I'll say three. I think one of them might be like these critical questions. I still think that's like possible, right? But it seems so unlikely. You know what I mean? Like it's like it doesn't seem to work in my experience. It doesn't seem to happen. But what I've seen happen is like some sort of experience, a lived experience, somebody living through something, right? And that's where I think I've changed my mind. It's been the lived experience. And right, like maybe it's a skill issue, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And like I'm not 100% confident. I'm not like saying I'm not putting the nails in the coffin. Maybe metaphorically I am.
Well, I think you kind of did.
Maybe metaphorically, yeah.
Where we're at right now.
But there's that. And then the other way, I think, is somebody making a presentation and making a posit a claim, preaching, propaganda, if you will, whatever you want to call it. Somebody putting it out there, and then the other person picking it up,
Yeah.
consuming it, changing their mind. Yeah.
I think you might be disagreeing with yourself, Pierce. But I mean, you're dead, so your brain might not be working in the way that. No. Like, I mean, I hear you. It is frustrating. It is absolutely like just exhausting. Trying to sort through so many people with so many different positions and so many different reasons for their positions and so many different ways that they can interpret the things you're saying and ways that they can interpret your intentions. And I mean, I mean, as you're very well aware, and I just want to emphasize that this is how I'm thinking about it. I mean, this is a contact sport. Like, I mean, this is a place you get burned a lot. Like, I mean, it's difficult and not always very rewarding. I don't know. I remember Pierce before he died. I remember watching his little smirk of joy, watching various people on medium level topics and stuff, processing some framework they might have not processed before. And I mean, it's and not in any way to compare what we've done or you've done to like preaching or therapy, but I mean, sometimes just getting the right phrasing or the right wording, sometimes getting the just the like the motif like something that can be repeated easily and stretched out over different situations can build into the big and heavy things.
Yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's kind of the thing that Nick and I actually talked about, where it was like he talks to somebody, breaks the ice with this little tiny of a thing, this tiny, insignificant, unimportant claim. And then once he goes through that, once he works it out, he can talk about the other thing. But he actually took it a step further, and I don't know if maybe you agree with him, maybe you don't. You can tell me. He said that working through that little thing and getting the epistemology right on that little thing, then they have a chance or they have a likelihood of fixing their epistemology on the big thing, the important thing. You agree with that?
I do think there's a lot of value in that. It's, for one, it builds a little bit of trust in the process. Like, it kind of helps draw out what we're talking about, like the method of examining, playing this thought game, this game at which we step out of our typical responses to things and try to answer it in a way that's a little more third party almost. I think that helps illustrate that game, and it also builds trust. And like in, I don't know, like if you're a salesperson, getting a bunch of little yeses is the best way to get a big yes, and it's priming the situation to say, like, yes, these things work, these things are good, these are all things that you're wanting. Where they might think, what's this guy doing coming up to me? What's this guy talking to me about? It's like, is he trying to do something to me? I mean, there's always room for a Mott and Bailey. I mean, plenty of people try to take advantage of people all the time still. But I mean, at least gives you a little bit of a momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Taylor asked interesting question here. When you say SE is good at these particular types of claims, what counts as good, or what counts as being done well? It's a good question.
Yeah.
What counts as good? I would say inspiring reflection. When your conversation partner thinks about the reliability of their reasons method, I think that's where you're at. Boom, that's good. And what is being done well? Getting them there. Yeah, I mean, a lot
It's
of
like
it's
porn.
on...
You know it when you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is exactly like that, David. Like, sometimes you can do everything right and they just won't get an orgasm. And it's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that you're too small. Size doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, with these radioactive claims, it's like you never get to that point. You just keep going and you keep sticking it in, and it just never happens.
Yeah, that's why you need the foreplay, like Nick's talking about.
The analogy comes together.
There it is.
Man, we got death analogy, we got sex analogy.
Yeah, here I got another one for you here. One of the things that I'm personally been trying to sort through these days is the comment there. Just one of the things I'm trying to sort through these days is I find myself glued to my phone, like nonstop. Like I literally the other night, like I was just in the middle of 8 million things on my phone, and I tried to plug it up and set it across the room and go to bed, and I felt almost like I felt jonesing for it. Like I felt like I was like I need another drink or I need a smoke or something like it. I it was hitting me. Because I've been on it all day, and to take away the dopamine was a huge hit on my body in that regard. And then I've got a young daughter, and she was having a crash out trying to go to school, and she's just losing it. And my wife's like, "Look, you had a tired day the other day." She was on like her tablet like all day after school, and then she woke up and was watching TV, and you're even watching something on the way to school. And it's like if she's fried or frazzled or something like that, she doesn't even have time to like process it. She doesn't have time to even like feel how she's feeling because she's distracted by those feelings. She's distracted from those feelings, and so it's obvious that so what happens is the crash out happens because you aren't aware of everything that you're trying to process. And so with that being said, things like SE, things like this call-in show that we were doing, things like long form interviews is a chance to literally turn off the TV for a second, so to speak, and like feel your body. It gives us a pause from the stimulations of the world, the stimulations of the obligations. If you can distract it that well, but it's literally a chance to try to think about these things in a more vacuum type way. And I think a lot of people don't get a chance to do that. I mean, they have plenty of chances, but I mean, we are, bombarded. I mean, it's like somebody was saying today that was like every major corporation in the world wants you to be at your home on the TV, watching something on the TV. And if you're not on the TV, they want you to be on your phone interacting with their stuff. Like it's every bit of our attention is being bid for. And it's hard to sort through all this stuff. And so, I mean, maybe it's effective, maybe it's not. But I mean, there's got to be some freaking use out of stopping and having these kind of conversations, especially in a way that's not just dunking on people, especially in a way that's not just totally shitting on people for the circumstances they found themselves in. If you give them a place to wrestle with these thoughts maybe there's a place for shame and maybe there's a place for dunking. I'm sure there is. There is, but I think it's a useful service that is not offered by a lot of people, except for like therapists. And I mean, not to say we're like therapists, but it's like, it's like a meditation app. It's not some kind of guru. It's not going to some temple and being a, joining a monastery. But I mean, it is a effort towards some of those practices.
Yeah, I hear you. And I agree with you. Like, we get caught up in lots of shit. It's not the 90s anymore. We're always looking at a damn screen. Shit flying at us. Always stimulated by something. Trying to avoid a feeling. I feel you. I hear you. Which, that kind of brings me into the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. I don't want to shift gears on you too fast if you don't want to shift gears. But you want to shift gears?
Yeah, go for it. Let's hear where your thought goes.
Yeah. So we got all these things. We got the phone and all this crap. We got 16 different video apps on our phone. We got the Reels, got the Instagram, got the YouTube, you got the TikTok. You got all that crap. And pretty much all of it's like begging for our attention. What to watch, what to watch, what to watch. You got the algorithm shoving shit down our throats. And like where does SE fall on that algorithm? And this is where I think it falls. Not in the top 10. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I was thinking about this, and I'm kind of going to bring it back around to Nick and probably David from Sound Epistemology too. since he puts out a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually, I pretty much named all the current content creators except Trust But Verify. That's the only other one that I'm aware of.
Stuff
Yeah.
and the Overwatch guy.
Oh, Overwatch guy. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. The video game guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
What's that game?
It seems like, especially with Nick and David, they tend to do a lot of, and they're not exclusive. I'm not saying they're exclusive. They
There's
talk
always
about the
Peter
hard shit
Boghossian.
too. Yeah. But specifically with Nick and David, they tend to talk about a lot of this, like what I'm gonna call the unimportant stuff. Sometimes it's super broad. Sometimes it's just like this weird little niche thing that typically people don't really use in their everyday existence. You know what I mean? And it's like, where does that fall on the algorithm? How many people are going to see that and be able to reflect themselves? Because one of the things that's important to me is obviously who I'm talking to, right? That's important. But then also it's who's going to watch it and also have that opportunity to reflect. And if I put up a video and it gets like 6 people to see it, the chances of anybody of those 6 people, for one, also believing the claim, and 2, being able to reflect on that, it's not going to happen. So it's like, how do you talk about stuff that matters, that's going to get an algorithm? For one, it kind of has to be there, I think. And 2, make it interesting enough that people want to watch it. And 3, get the reflection. It's just like, I think when SE first started getting popular, when Anthony started going off on like college campuses and stuff, it was kind of like the perfect cocktail in a way. Like, I don't know that there probably were stuff like that prior to him doing that. I would think. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I guess I can't make that claim, but I'm assuming there was at least some people talking to people on the street or college campuses, interviews
sure.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were. But he was doing it like
for
in a
content
way.
cows.
What's it?
He was doing it for content cows. For content cows. That's the word. Dave Rubin. What we're talking about? You're still talking about Anthony. Keep going.
No idea what you meant, but anyways, like, I don't know. It just kind of worked with that tail end of the like new atheism, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of like, it was the right time, the right place.
I'm pretty sure I had an experience that was pretty common, in that I found it was some of the peak of a lot of the angry atheist.
Yeah.
Kind of, it was, you had the angry atheist, and it was on the tail end of it was like after Gamergate and all that stuff, where everybody was real angry there for a while, and into SJWs, and it was also during the time of like the Four Horsemen, where everything was kind of intellectual beatdowns, and atheist experience was, a lot of intellectual beatdowns and just a lot of dunking, just a lot of like, look how dumb they are here now, just like everything else. And I remember seeing Anthony's videos, and I was so refreshed. It was so refreshing at the time because it was in contrast. And I think I'm a bit of an anomaly with that. I like the slow form kind of stuff. But it was so refreshing as a contrast because it was listening to the person. It was using the language that the people use to try to walk through their thought process and things and it was also more organic feeling because it was man on the street kind of thing. It was like, so it didn't feel as like a lot of people who call in shows, they're likely chronically online people. and for better or worse, I'm part of that crowd. So, but person you see on a walking trail on a place where walking across a college campus, it feels a little more
Genuine.
genuine. Yeah. Not that the people can't call into a call-in show and be genuine. That's not the implication, but there's a certain amount of separation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more
like realness.
Yeah, they're not
connection,
prepping themselves to try to debate a person as much as they're more curious about what's going on, and then curious about what these questions are going to do. And
I like what Sasha said here.
Yeah.
Yes, many atheist YouTube shows made me hate Christians more as he helped me find compassion for the religious. I like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely a time period. Was that experience unique to us where it was like this weird atheist angst or anger? Was that time period?
Yeah. I mean, I believe that was around the same time. I mean, it was after, what's his name? The Angry Atheist, literally I think it was his name. Or whatever the guy's name was, but it was right there in that time frame.
Okay.
Still a bunch of Duncan.
Yeah. So it provided contrast. It was kind of the right time, right thing at the right time. But it seems like
it's fresh, new perspective.
It's fresh, yeah. Feels like it kind of fizzled out to me. At least that's my perspective.
Well, yeah. I mean, the flagship
I guess
person phased out. He didn't really pass the torch or anything, or he doesn't really say this is. I mean, they got the course, but the course feels so much separate than the.
Yeah.
I don't know, the interactions with people as much. It feels a little more corporate, which has its use. It's a cool course. It's great, and likely, honestly, can potentially affect thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, because it doesn't have to have the medium of a person. It doesn't have to have a guy walking around with a cardboard cutout to go walk through some kind of weird thought experiment with them. They don't have to call into a call-in show. They don't have to see somebody at a college campus. I mean, they can run through those things at their own time, or maybe it could be brought up in a class or something. So it has a lot of potential to carry on the core of true epistemology really far. I just don't think SE had a lot of more sizzle when it had a little more personality. Excuse me. And everybody was kind of jumping on it. And that one guy walked around with a cardboard cutout, and that was the peak, I think, of street epistemology. Whatever happened?
I would have really liked to see that continue on. I would have liked to see where that ended up.
Yeah. He must have been taken out by the CIA or something.
Yeah. Where the hell is that guy?
I was born yesterday.
But yeah, I think one of the things that was working really well for Anthony was the topics, and a lot of the topics were religious. Not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd talk about just about anything. He always let his conversation partner decide. And the thing about going on just letting people decide, you do get a lot of religious claims. That's kind of a thing that happens. And
go ahead.
And the thing with Peter, why he's able to grab so much traction, at least in my opinion, is because of the topics. The same reason. It's just a different topic. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think, honestly, I think SE excelled tremendously at supernatural claims, and that's what it's best at. Claims that people believe and they can't actually substantiate a reason for someone outside of themselves to really come to the same conclusion, other than just trust me kind of thing. And which I think was neat at the time, because I mean that was good. But whenever you started getting into like normative claims, I guess that's the word for it, right? Like, oh yeah, I'll get to that in a second. You start getting into claims that are like, should you do this? Should you do that? This should be the best thing. That then it stops being things you can kind of empirically deduct in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, you can like make a path from point A to point C, but some people might say, well, point C is not as important to me as point H or whatever. And it's like, so they use the numbers for different things. And so a lot of times you're talking about like why this thing is the most important versus the actual evidence. And because, I mean, I just see it over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, this is right, or this is the thing. No, this is the thing. Well, look at my source. Here's this article. Psh, that's nothing. Here's my source. Read this article. Blah, blah, blah. Psh, that's nothing. Check this out. Here's more sources. Blah, blah, blah. Check this out. These people say this right here. And it's like, you're just like, nana, boo-boo, mine's better than yours. Versus some kind of understanding of the fact that most people are focusing on different values and they're not talking about that.
Yeah. And for a while, I went through that phase where I tried to talk exclusively about values. And that was fun. But also it's weird. It is really hard work to do that. Like, it can be done. It's much, I think people are more willing to talk about a truth claim because it's like separated from themselves. It's like, this is true outside of me. Like, sure, I believe it, but it's outside of me. When you're trying to talk about a value, it's like closer to an identity, closer to a part of you.
Oh yeah. And
so
there's a lot of social components to that.
Like, you go in there and you try to poke at that. Sometimes they poke back.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I mean, any kind of discussion that has any kind of moral implications is literally making someone have to say, I'm not actually a good person. The things that I've done are not the right thing, or the things that I believe are not the good thing. Are we the baddies? Like, that's a heavy and very protected and shrouded feeling that people want to avoid at all cost. Myself included. And so, again, that's why I like things like SE, whether it's SE or not SE. I still think it's a useful tool. I think SE as a trend, I mean, it fizzled. The pot's gone flat. But I think the method still has its uses in the right context. And so, yeah.
I think you kind of said it there. Like, maybe you didn't say it. Maybe I thought you were going to say it and then you didn't say it.
Probably not.
Like, let me try to explain what's in my head here. Like, you got this normative claim that you're talking with this person about. And, it's like, are we the baddies? That type of thing. How do you get someone to not frame it in that way? How do you get someone to actually be willing to examine it and not take it in that direction? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like, just not take your questioning personally, like in a personal attack, and rather just like, hey, let's figure this fucking shit out,
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that. Once someone is like, Like,
I'm
fuck
actually
you,
got that
man.
stored right here next to the cure for cancer.
I think that's really what I struggle with, though. Like someone is willing to talk to you, willing to actually put words from their mouth to your ears, and words from your mouth entering their ears. But then when it comes down to it, it's just like, are you you're asking me this because you believe the opposite? Oh, you believe the opposite? Oh, fuck you, man. You know, like,
Balls.
how can you inspire people to drop that motherfucking attitude? As I'm swearing and having an attitude.
Yeah, how do we get you to drop the motherfucking attitude?
No, but really, like, I think that's almost impossible. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong people.
Like, did you see that Spider-Man movie with all the Spider-Mans in it, with the multiverse one or whatever?
No.
Well, like, imagine taking two characters from two different movies.
Okay.
They have got two different worlds, two different contexts, two different settings and language ways that like they use the same. They might both speak English, but they talk different. And then trying to have them both try to talk about something. They'll have to do so much work to try to translate and contextualize and do all these things. And I think it's what we end up having to do with every person we talk to. Because it's like, even if I'm using the words like, oh yeah, I think this made me feel more compassionate towards that person. That might not mean the same thing to me as it means to them. And then so it's a long, arduous task of trying to translate these kind of things. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I hear what you're saying. Like even if we have someone grew up in a culture, I don't know, Hindu culture, got someone from your neighbor who grew up in the deep south, you know, extremely religious. He's got the red hat on and everything. Like they may literally not speak the same language, but even if they did speak the same language, like it might be hard for them to actually understand like really be able to hear where the other person's coming from, like what they actually mean. Yeah.
That's why a conversation about values and trying to that's why I care about talking about most these days, is kind of trying to understand. Like, we can kind of talk about facts all day kind of thing, but the facts are guided by our interpretation, and our interpretations in a lot of ways framed through our values. And I don't know, it's not a perfect solution, but to me it's the most memeable, mimetic way to process through conversations currently. I don't think Pierce is dead.
No?
I think Pierce, maybe the stinking thinking Pierce might be dead. Might be doing a bait and switch here. But I don't know. I don't think you've given up on people. I think you understandably are tired.
I am tired.
You know, they say sleep is practicing for death, right?
It reminds me of the Lil Wayne lyric. I've never heard that before.
Which one's that?
Sleep is the cousin of death.
There it is.
Yeah,
basically.
The rest, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure Pierce isn't even your real name, so
I'm never gonna know, man.
it's a mystery.
Saw some comments up here.
Yeah, let's hit them.
Nonviolent communication is perfect for keeping the interlocutor chill. Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. There depends exactly what you mean by nonviolent communication. I would say nonviolent communication definitely will keep them from losing their mind, right? It's also this extremely like lengthy process, or at least it can be, right? If someone is in lose their mind mode, it might take a while to get them grounded, and that's kind of the limitation, I think, of NVC. It's it's a long game. It's not gonna. I don't know that maybe. I mean, I guess in certain circumstances I've used it, and it's been like 5 minutes. So I guess I'm proving myself wrong here.
Nothing better than being wrong about something that improves you.
Yeah. Maybe I should just do it NVC exclusively.
Nah, you go
You
crazy.
think I can gain traction on YouTube doing that?
Maybe in the right circles. I'm gonna dial back just real quick and say that
Good.
like people like David and people like Nick and Watch, I think they're doing the fundamentals. Like, I mean, I think you need people who do the fundamental stuff. You need like the people who are just doing. God, I can't think of a great analogy for it right now, but I think that's solid work for just for doing medium conversations a lot of times, and maybe some deep ones depending on if the person's in the right spot for it.
Yeah.
Because that lays the groundwork for more situations in that regard. So, while me personally, I think I'm a little tired of watching SE videos. I mean, they fit pretty good in like the playlist of trains leaving the station and coming back. You know, nice, relaxing, and reflective. But yeah, I mean, unless you're dunking on people like Bogosian, I mean, it's not super exciting without 2 Day David doing videos.
Or an alien making a appearance.
Yeah, yeah. Where's that at?
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mentioned David and Nick a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it may have sounded like I was dunking on them, where like
No,
I
I
was
don't
saying
think
they
you
all
were.
the
I
time.
think you were just
Okay,
talking
good.
about you're just
I didn't mean
losing
to.
SE, and I mean they're just some of the main players on making consistent SE content these days.
Right. Okay, cool. Just wanted to clear that up. Clear the air there.
Yeah.
I wasn't dunking on anybody. Yeah. What's this? I didn't read this one all the way through. Normative claims versus what other sorts of claims, because it seems to me that there's a sense in which SE is engaged in examining epistemic values and asking, should you have those values?
Yeah, it's trying. It's not good at it, but it's trying.
Yeah. I think this question, my answer to this question is my value prioritization chart list.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call it. That's what I did in the past. I would say like ask for like, what would I do it? I think I would ask for, there'd be like a normative claim. Then I'd ask what's supporting that. And I'd kind of prime it for a value. I'd be like, what do you get out of this? Why is this important to you? And I'd ask also like what somebody else who believed the opposite would value, or why it would be important to them. So I'd get these two values, and then I'd, for the the opposite view, I'd be like, is that important to you also? And they'd almost always say yes, because it's It's a need usually. And they'll be like, this one's more important and this one's a little bit lower because I'm assuming, or I'd have them put it on there. And then I'd ask, why is that one higher? Almost nobody could answer that though. So I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it got them reflecting.
Maybe you need a question before that
Maybe I do.
to help facilitate the answer to that.
It's sort of about epistemic norms. Consider a case in which an interlocutor believes something you think is true, but for reasons you think are bad ones. Are you going to do SE in that case?
I feel like I live my whole life like that. Like, I just constantly see people who agree with me, but are terrible at presenting why people should think it also. But maybe I just have bad reasonings and they're right. Who knows?
What is Pierce's goal? So there's two goals. I think two goals. I don't think there's three. Two. One of them is to teach people how to have conversations without ripping people's heads off and dunking and shit. Like, I think if we can talk to each other, we can figure shit out, hopefully. With, these atomic claims and shit. Maybe not. I hope
Maybe
so.
not.
I want that to be true, damn it. So that'd be the one. The second would be to help people reflect on their claims. And hopefully through that reflection they get closer to the truth. That's it. And like also that can help me too. Cause like shit. If they sometimes they get me to reflect. Sometimes me asking questions is like damn. That happens too. So David, did you want to say anything about your goals or you want to just move on?
My goals. The thing that I value a lot is something kind of similar to translation. Like one of my goals for doing these kind of things is I want to take people who are in this camp and people who are in this camp and help them hear the opposing camp in ways that at least from my perspective, it seems like they're not being able to hear because of all the other noise. That's something I value in internet life and in real life. And one day I'll find a way to make money doing it. And that doesn't involve me reading ad reads on streaming videos.
OnlyFans.
Yes. I'll offer an OnlyFans package where I'm just naked and I help solve all your interpersonal problems.
Do you have to be naked though?
You can see my feet. You pay extra for naked counseling.
Somehow that didn't make it any better. Anyways. There may be other goals as well. I'm pretty sure Pierce said his goal was to get people to reflect on important things, which, to be honest, is not very clear to me. Yeah, let me give an example, and hopefully that will clear stuff up. Like something that I think would not be important is which breakfast cereal you eat. It probably doesn't matter if you have Fruit Loops or like Chocula. Like, who cares? Like that might be something that's not important. Something that's important might be like, which presidential candidate you vote for, which school board candidate you vote for, like what school you send your kids to. if you attend a religious organization, right? Or a religious school. Which school you send your kids to? Um, other stuff too, like medical decisions, if you're gonna, have a procedure done or not. Stuff like that. Hopefully that clears stuff up.
Pierce, let me tell you what I think that the new Pierce, like the reborn, hatched from the egg of of growth and clear understanding, looks like. I understand that doing this video stream and stuff can be kind of taxing and almost dull at times. So it's easier sometimes to get interviews and just let people talk and talk to people and be a little more casual and stuff like that. But I think you got a lot of potential to, because you're a person who's all the time trying to think about ways to frame questions and all the time trying to think about ways to do it. I think you're on a momentum right now, which you could be hosting these people talking, and you could be asking them questions like nobody else is asking you. You could do something. I think you got it in you. Like, I think that you've got a chance to break away from SC a little bit, but also take what it's like that daggum the old Christian saying I used to say, like, the church is a whore, but she's my mother. It's, I don't know. Tell me,
Like,
I gotta go here in just a second. So what I want to know is, who is the new Pierce going to be? Like, if the old Pierce is dead and the new Pierce is here, what should I be expecting to interact with?
I don't know that I have an answer for you. Like I can tell you that probably the best way to have a conversation, once again, using this term encompassing, is probably SE. That's still my understanding. That's still what I think. However, I think it does have these limitations that I've spoken an hour about. I'm not going to repeat them. But then there's these other things that seem to be like, wow, that's really effective. I mean, maybe not effective at like getting people to reflect, but probably maybe even getting people to reflect. Like just like shoveling facts aggressively into people's faces. And I'm not saying I'm going to start doing that, but like that seems more effective. Why shouldn't I do that instead? That crossed my mind. Like, why not just do that? Just go to a college campus and just start yelling facts at people. Why not go and do that? And I'm probably not gonna do that. But like,
because you care about feelings, and facts don't care about your feelings, Pierce. But you care about like the real feelings, like not just what would the people say, like, feel sorry for it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have empathy and compassion for people's situations and understanding that, but also a desire to do something about it instead of just scoff at it, instead of just saying like, just suck it up, just pull yourself by your bootstraps, like, people are feeling too sorry for everybody. It's like, no, it's like, it's not about feeling sorry for people for just so you can feel good. It's like understanding the situation is a problem to solve. It's just a puzzle. It's not about some kind of like super virtue. I'm better because I feel more sorry for people. No, it's just a tool. It's a tool to understand people's situations and to navigate where they can go from next. I think there is a certain amount of usefulness in being dead inside, as some would say, that I know that you've interacted with, but
Don't tell Nitty.
um, but I think there's a difference between being dead inside and being practical, and I think sometimes people use dead inside in place of, like, instead of the word practical when they want to use practical, but they're leaning into the dead part and they're doing nothing. They're just shutting down on actually trying to fix anything. They're giving up. And I think there's a difference between I think you can still be optimistic, you can still be nihilistic, you can still think that we should stop just feeling sorry for people, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to fix the problems.
I'm trying to extract this. I'm trying. I'm trying to repeat back this, but it's difficult because I may not have fully understood you. So it's like we shouldn't use these feelings of feeling sorry for people and either like beat them down with it or use that as an excuse for anything else. But
An excuse for not caring.
excuse for not caring.
I feel like a lot of this kind of mindset of, like, suck it up, buttercup, or this whole, basically, we're coddling people and they just were this generation too soft. It's like, even if that's the case, solve the problems. Like, don't just give up and be like, well, I don't have that problem, so fuck anybody else. Like, if you got that problem, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, I mean, I'm supposed to care about you because you have problems, and it's like that.
To
me,
I got you now.
It's.
I think that not the person who said suck it up, but the other half of that, the second part, I think that probably describes me, and I think that's what you were trying to do, right?
Yeah. I think that the part of Pierce that was alive in the past that I'm hoping doesn't die with the rest of this was the optimism to try, even if it I don't know, just the optimism to try. Because, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think there's really much use giving up. And I gotta go. I give up. See ya.
All right, see ya. I'm gonna interact with a few comments here. Well, David's already left. I wanted to at least read this one. I get up from bed to get a glass of water and see this Pierce's Dead title. Jesus, how am I supposed to fall back asleep after that mini heart attack? No more checking my phone amid sleep. Good night. And I see you commented again, so you didn't go to sleep. That was a lie. But sorry for the heart attack. And no, don't look at your phone mid-sleep. Don't you know about blue light? You're never going to get back to sleep. Especially, like, looking at your phone, getting distracted. Don't do that. It's not good. Here's Ragnar being pedantic. See, I knew you didn't go to sleep. And I told you didn't go back to sleep. I took a break from SE because it was mentally draining. Practicing SE or watching SE? I don't think you're a content creator that I'm aware of. When I felt better, I got right back into it. Pierce always has cool SE vids, though very refreshing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It seems like you might be taking Doug's typical framing too seriously, David. People can have values about caring for others independently of anything like feel sorry. Like, I don't know if you're saying that it was the wrong interpretation from Doug, or if David's interpretation is like just like not any good. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you meant. But anyways, I think that's everything I wanted to go through. Unless anybody wants to come up or has anything more to add, I'm basically going to call that a wrap. Anybody have anything else to add? No more comments? Nobody wants to have a conversation? I was hoping at least one person would call in. Evil, I think, is the absence of empathy. Captain G.M. Gilbert, the Army psychologist assigned to watching the defendants at the Nuremberg trials. Makes sense to me. Wrong interpretation from Doug. Also, buying into the rhetoric is unhelpful. Maybe. I'm not entirely. I think I'd have to talk to David a little bit longer to actually understand what he was trying to say, because I don't think I grasped it entirely. I think what Doug said had Doug's term, at least how I'm interpreting it, how I would use it, and that meaning like you see there's a normative claim, and there's some harm being done to an individual or group of people, and you immediately like jump to, because they're being harmed, to jump to like the opposite of that or prevent that, or you know what I'm trying to say, like because of that you take action or advocate for action. And I think there's some usefulness to being aware of that. I'm not saying don't take that action in all circumstances. Like if let's say the post office has these stairs, and because of the Americans with Disability Act, they had to put up a ramp so wheelchair folks can get up into the post office, right? I think that's great, and I think feel sorry for ism in that circumstance like that. I don't think you should really. It applies there, because, or not that it doesn't apply there. Like you know what I'm trying to say. Like it's not useful in that situation, but there might be another situation where it's like these kids in school can't afford pizza. They can only afford apples and spaghetti or something, and you make like, and you're like, oh, this is terrible. We need to help these kids, and we got to have the parents who are can afford it, or these other kids pizza. It's a bad example. Go with it. It might be useful there, because you're kind of harming whatever somebody else to unharm somebody else. That might be a useful to be aware of that. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I love you, Sasha. Don't be dead inside, be alive inside. Feel sorry forism is not an illness, it's being human. Sure. I think it's something that's natural to people. It's natural to feel sorry for people, to want better things for fellow humans. Yeah, I would agree. I think there's sometimes it can be, what's the right word? Like we could be misled, right? We can want what's best, but in the end it either harms someone else or harms those individuals in that process, right? So I think it's something to at least be aware of. Like, not necessarily anytime you feel sorry for someone, to be like, oh, that's sorry-forism, that's terrible. Just don't do that. You're just being an empathetic bastard. No. But it might be something to be aware of and just analyze it further. That's all I'm saying. Is that what Doug's saying? I don't fucking know. But that's what I'm saying. So I think we all just need to accept that we all have a lot of learning to do. We want to communicate well. Communication is hard. Projects around it will take messy time and effort. That is true. That is very true. I mean, you're right. You're not wrong. There's something about people and beliefs, especially beliefs that are revolve around an identity, that are just, they're difficult to talk about. And I guess maybe it's that a lot of people aren't ready to have that conversation. And I would like to get people ready for that conversation. I don't know how to do that. That's what I want to do. I feel like it might be impossible, though. I don't know how to do that. If you got any ideas, let me know. No, we already have better ways to talk about motivations people have. Doug is intentionally using rhetoric device to undermine values with which he disagrees. The terms aren't used to clarify. Maybe. Yeah, like if he was saying that all of these other things are feels sorry-forism, but then things that he's advocating for that kind of apply under the same definition of feel sorry-forism. If that applies to his stuff, but he's saying that his stuff is not that, then I would agree. Is he doing that? I don't know. Bunches of muddy things up and misrepresent people he disagrees with. It's also reductive and doesn't help explain anything. If you don't explain it, yeah, is he explaining it? I don't know. Doug invented a condition to trick them and feel weak. Don't know. Impossible. Necessary. Referring to what I was saying earlier. Interstellar. Okay. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Where I go from here? I don't know. I have no idea. Will I start doing preaching videos? Will I go out and just start preaching to people? No, probably not. I don't think so. That'd be interesting, though. Like an anti-SE video? Maybe that's not a bad idea. Just one time. Be kind of embarrassing, though. Nah, I don't think I want to do it. Alright, well, everybody have a good night. See y'all later.
If you've watched this far, you know what to do. Don't miss what's next. The choice is on you. Stay in the loop, keep your feet in line. Hit that bell, catch me live next time. It's simple, it's quick, but it means a lot. Stay connected, see the moves I've got. No promises, no fluff, just what's real. Subscribe and the update seal the deal. Subscribe, hit the bell and I'll see you. The stream's done now, but the content won't stop. So stay in the loop till I'm back at the top.